What's going on, everyone? So, three things. One, I know I'm not wearing a hat because every time I don't wear a hat, people let me know, hey, Tyler, where's the hat? Because two, it was my daughter's birthday today, or one of my daughter's birthdays today, and so that's why I'm all red and hot and tired because, played dad today, and we did like a thing at the park and, whatnot, right? So, did all that. Three, Luka Doncic went Super Saiyan, right? I got this new shirt too for my birthday. My birthday was the other day. It's awesome. And I didn't wear the shirt for Luka. I wore the shirt because I was at my kid's birthday. And on top of that, right, just so happens that Luka Doncic went Super Saiyan. Boom, we're back to being a Saiyan. Let me put it that way. He hasn't got Super Saiyan yet. We need him to get there. Super Saiyan 2, right, Ultra Instinct, whatever. We need it, right? Depending on where you are as far as your age, right? Super Saiyan 2. Those that remember, right? I mean, the Saiyan, just becoming a Saiyan, period. Those that remember, wow. But, the Ultra Instinct and all that stuff for the newer generation of DBZ fans. But to get serious for a moment, get back on track, right? Sorry, I'm tired. It's just been a long day. But I needed to talk about this, right? This is really good for the Lakers, like huge for the Lakers. For those that don't know, just kind of paraphrase, right? Luka is now slim. He went from, sticking with the Dragon Ball Z references, he went from, Majin Buu to, Super Buu, right? Like where he got all slimmed down and in shape and yoked out, and then hopefully he doesn't go into hibernation, right? Hopefully he's ready for the season, and we're ready to go because he does. He looks good, right? And you can clearly see, again, change in his stature, right? Like you see it in his face in particular, right? Even just like the just plain white tee he's wearing, right? Like you can see kind of more of the definition. He's carrying around a little weight, right? Coming off injuries, whatever it was, I don't know. But one of the things that I talked about very heavily was that, look, if you were ever going to have the motivation necessary in order to pull off getting back to being that top 2-3 player in the world, Luka Doncic, it's what the Dallas Mavericks did, which is not just traded him and betrayed him, not just upset him, hurt him, all that stuff, right? But literally dragged this dude through the mud and then went, no, that wasn't good enough, and dragged him back this way through the mud and then grabbed him and slammed him in the mud and then threw him into a giant puddle of mud because Nico, every opportunity they had, they were bashing this guy. Right? So if you were ever going to have the motivation, if you were ever going to really be like, okay, I'm going to show you, it is the situation that happened with the Dallas Mavericks and Nico Harris, right? So I think that was probably the match that lights this whole candle, right? And I'm excited for it. We need it. And the better Luka is, the better the Lakers are, right? Like Lakers are in excellent shape, right? Do they have a lot of needs? Sure. Do they have are there a lot of question marks? Sure, right? Obviously they need center. They could use some athleticism. They could use some perimeter help, right? Some shooting. There's a lot. This team is very flawed, but the best way to kind of compensate for your flaws is with having just overwhelming front-end talent. You've seen teams do it time and time again, and the elevation of their stars. And if you get the best version of Luka Doncic, the version of Luka Doncic in which he's able to get back to being that player that by himself we have seen beat some very good teams, right? The Lakers, even if they're not able to solve all of their issues, they can just kind of solve the key ones, center position, get a couple more athletic guys, even if they're not 3-and-D, but just some real athleticism out there, a guy that can knock down the three with some consistency, whatever, right? If you can solve some of those needs, some of those issues, right? This Lakers team is going to be very good next year, and they're going to be a contender. Right? Because they have something that no other team has. And that's LeBron James, which I know there's people that are LeBron, he's leaving, he's retired, whatever. LeBron James is still a top 10 player in the league. He's not the LeBron James that by himself could drag a bunch of bums on his back to the NBA Finals. He's not that LeBron anymore, but he is still an incredible LeBron James. And if he's your second best player, that is a huge thing, right? So Lakers have the tradable assets. They have everything they need to solve some of their needs. I don't think that they have enough to really essentially roster rehaul this thing, but they can get quite a bit. I think that they can solve a lot of their issues. And at the end of the day, you need, regardless, even if they're able to solve everything, you need the best version of Luka, period. And if you get that version of Luka, right, one, the more you can solve, the better your chances are winning a championship. But even if you can't solve all those things, that version of Luka is good enough to close that gap, right? To put you in a position to where you can win. Because he's going to be able to handle that workload and carry teams and throw guys on his back and go, you know what, let's go. And again, Lakers are the only team really that have, 2 top 10 players? The other team has 2 top 10 guys, clear-cut top 10 guys. And the Lakers have, at worst, the 4th best player in all of basketball, even with, even Fat Luka, right? Still is, a top 4 or 5 player in the league. So again, it's just, you look at what Luka's capable of, and we know what he's capable of because we've seen it time and time and time again. I mean, this guy, we're not that far removed from him being in the NBA Finals, right? And his second best player was Kyrie Irving. Kyrie Irving is great, unbelievable talent. Love Kyrie, right? Kyrie Irving's not LeBron James. Even at this stage of his career, he's not anywhere close to LeBron James. LeBron James is by far the greatest player that Luka has and likely will ever play with. Even at this stage of LeBron's career, he is that. Just like Luka is this best player LeBron's ever and likely ever will play with the rest of his career, right? Because his career is probably going to be a lot shorter than Luka's. Although Luka probably drew out, 10 years for LeBron James. But at the end of the day, right, I think many of us, I'm sure that there were some, people that were like, I need to see it or, whatever, which there's nothing wrong with that. But myself, and I know many others, felt like you're going to see a very different Luka next year. I talked about it numerous times, right? From the moment we traded for him, right? And even when we got eliminated, I talked about hey, the Luka thing, I trust him to get it right. I do. And because again, he has the ultimate motivation. You don't get that good unless you are just a fierce competitor. There's people that have natural gifts that are just naturally just incredible. I mean, he is a dog and he always has been a dog. And it's easy for a dog to get comfortable until he needs to be reminded that he's a wolf, and I think that's the thing. I think Luka, got a little domesticated, right? Hey, I'm enjoying the nightlife, man. Couple beers, smoke some hookah, show up, hoop, drop 40 on these bums and just enjoy my life, right? Got the money, got the girl, I got the life, living it, right? It's easy to kind of get lost and kind of get comfortable. And then something happens where you go, okay, I'm no longer going to get comfortable, not to this level again. And it changes, and that flip switches, or switch flips, right? And I think that's what you're going to see with Luka. I really do. I think you're going to see Luka unlike you've ever seen Luka. I think he's going to be incredibly motivated. I think he's going to be incredibly determined, right? I think it was Nick Wright, at least that I heard say it first. And I'm pretty sure he was the one that said it first, at least, on a media platform, right? Which was, and I'm pretty sure it was on First Take because I remember doing a video about it. But he said, even if Luka never was, even if Dallas is right? Dallas, he doesn't want to train, he doesn't want to condition, he's this, that, and the other, right? All the reasons that he was dragged through the mud. Even if Dallas is right, and he never would have, and he always would have been that Luka, the fact that Dallas did what they did, immediately made them wrong because Luka was going to show them. Okay, like there is a version, there's an alternate universe where Luka doesn't get traded and he just kind of is what we saw him, last year, right? And continues to kind of be a little injury prone and continues to, not take it so serious and, wants to embellish a little bit on the finer things, right? Which is fine, right? But there's everything in scale. I think the moment he was traded, I think that alone, as soon as they came out publicly as to the reason why, like if they just traded him just cause, then I don't know. I definitely think Luka would have been motivated. I definitely think that there would have been a clear, Luka's different. But I think Dallas ensured the most drastic extreme because of how much they dragged this guy through the mud. The Lakers just finished playing like a month ago, and the guy looks already completely transformed. He probably hasn't even done his workouts and prepping for the season and all that stuff. Right? Like this is a guy that just wait, August, September, right? As we start gearing up and ramping up into the season, I am so genuinely excited to see what does he look like and how does he look and how does he go about this. But anyway, as always, this is a discussion. Pass question on you. Well, let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. What do you think? If you would have thoughts, agree with me, disagree with me. What'd you think of the images of Luka? I'd love to hear it either way down in the comments below. That being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. Helps me a lot. We enjoy these types of videos and I truly appreciate it. Not subscribe channel, hit that subscribe button. Turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one.